Hi, hello, and welcome to the Oracle Councilorship brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess Ablosi. I'll be your Oracle today, and I was sent to deliberate the findings, deliberate some findings. What called me here was I was meditating, contemplating on the full moon in Libra video, which will come out on the 9th of April. It'll be published to the Vertex YouTube channel. There was something I missed. I wanted to say, because in my pre-meditation, I wanted to say now in my contemplation, I realized I didn't say, just that cycle of the Libra full moon is going to force us to speak our truths. I was kind of dancing around that. What I didn't say was that if we don't get in alignment with the cycle, we're going to feel like we're playing catch up in a very cruel, hurtful way, meaning okay, I'm hearing fear of missing out, fear of losing out. I'm hearing missed opportunities, lost opportunities. I'm hearing, because the Three of Swords, it is one of those mind over matter. You feel the way you feel because of what you're deciding to think. It also is dispersal of truth. When the truth comes out, it can be a little prickly. And it's almost like this is expansion, because the Three is expansion. It's the same thing with the Jack or the Knight, the Prince of Swords. It's fast moving expansion. But another thing about the Three of Swords is it's also the abyss. You know, Oya, Mama Chamba, the Gede, the Azebudun, the cemetery spirits. So it also is the goddess telling you there's room for improvement. Aida Wevo, you know, Mawusek Polisa, it's the infinite creation of the universe. The kind where it's the secrets that God holds from you because you wouldn't be able to fathom it because it's at a high vibration. It's almost like immortal, eternal, past your human experience, past your eternal experience, past eternity. So it's pre-primordial, meaning it's before you get to the implanting and the seeding of humanity. So what does that mean? There is this grace that comes with the infinite creation of the universe. And we can stay on this joyful ease, looks like luck in the third dimension in the physical realm, but it's ease, bliss, felicity in the higher dimensions. There is this energy, but there also is a flip side of the coin where you could start to embark on a path that isn't the Three of Wands, that isn't in alignment with your path, that isn't spirit-led, spirit-given, spirit-filled. It isn't always spirit, karma, life, past, destiny. It can very much be the wrong path. It can much be a hidden path. It can much be a dark path. And in the beginning of these, because the road to hell is paved with good intentions, in the beginning of a path, of a journey, you can always tell that it's going to end up very negative, very poorly. Think of Hitler. It's not about my personal opinion whether I like or dislike that character in history. What I'm saying is some of the things he was doing, some of his behavior was sanctioned by law. So there's a path that could look very sound, and if it's not spirit-led, spirit-filled, or if you don't ask the question, am I staring into the abyss? Is the abyss trying to look back at me? So let's do some Oracle Council. I'm hearing this forgiveness song that I sing. I'm feeling low. Yes, 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 yes. You know, it's like this constant realization of all of the, you know, it's very much like Kate Bush song, you know, give me that one moment back, give me that one little chance, give me that Memory, give me your hand. You know, there's a little strength in your left. There's a lot of fight left. All the things you wanted, all the things you needed, all the things you could have said. There's this grace coming out because the precious gift of the incarnational teachings of the universe is here. The inner secret, the inner chamber of knowledge. I need the Three of Wands. Oh no, it's giving us the okay. Well, thank you. You know, the abyssal mysteries are just that. Mysteries that come up to the surface from the depths of the soul. And the depths of our soul is the goddess. The righteousness and the divinity and the virtue in our spirit, that's God. So when something bubbles up from the depths of our soul, that's the subconscious. Because there's a truth that we need to speak, and it's according to our energy, frequency, vibration. Our spirit, karma, life path, destiny, it bears a specific imprinting from the creator, from the divine. And as we stand in the collective, as we embody, allow this energy to flow through us, it's not coming from us, it's coming through us. It pushes things forward according to our own way. So our way is like our craft or our style or our technique. There's some individuality. As we sit in Great Spirit, we embody the infinite individually. We are an individual embodiment of the all that is. And there's a specific harmony, frequency, energy, vibration. And what it does is it drives things forward truthfully. It makes sure that the path for the higher ascended path is exalted. But see, we need to give truth, we need to give word, we need to give credence to what's right in front of us, which is discernment against anything that's not in alignment with what we're trying to co-create, collaborate. So I don't know, because it's saying we're on the path towards confronting what's alive in us. And we're individually guided, but we all have this inner eternal source. And what that is great wisdom from the ancestors, specifically the Father. I'm hearing the word Maga, which is a reference to the Leo energy, according to Siddhartha or Vedic astrology. Because there's infinite abundance and potentiality within us, but we need our own bite, we need our own backbone, we need our own sharpness, our own sense of individuality. We need to be working on something. We need to have something for ourselves going on. Otherwise, we join somebody else's something or we're leeching off of somebody else's. Meaning either we're parasitic or sheep instead of individualistic. So what we need to do for our own selves is have the blinding flash of the obvious. We need to have a shocking awe and discovery of what's worthwhile in us. It's going to be different stuff for different folks, but mainly some blinding flash of the obvious about our own worth and like virtue and value and abundance. And there is some kind of sacred beauty goddess gift, Kala, Kala, which also can talk about time, karma, but also sacred gifts. There's 64 Kalas. Research that. 6, the numeral 6, numeral 4, Kala, K-A-L-A. Put that in the search engine. It should come out with the Yogini, okay, the Yogin, the Naginas, the priestesses of virtuous wisdom there. It's a gift that you incarnate with, and one that you can take on in terms of a practice, very similar to the devotional practice in this lifetime. And the more kalas are evident at the time of birth, or when you test them between 8 and 13, 16 to 25 is a different kind of maturation. Between 16 and 30, that's your Brahma cycle, where you're a student. And at 30, you should register a certain amount of gifts. Well, the number of gifts you have talk about how much divinity you've brought with you through into this lifetime. So we're living in a darker place than what we were born with. So like, for instance, like Krishna, for instance, he was born with nearly all of them. 19 of them were pronounced. And see, the funny thing is a lot of the other deities, 16 to 19 of them were pronounced. And that's the ones, you know, they're talking about, wow, they've had lifetime after lifetime after lifetime of virtuous piety. Well, you see, we're not living in a time where people can even gauge or garner or gain virtuous piety, because we're in environments around these locations that dishonor, dilute, diminish, distort, disown divinity. And sometimes you are judged according to the environment surrounding location you're in, the people that you're around. So there's these energies, efforts to embark on virtuous, righteous, divine seeding, divine path work as well. All of this dispersion, all of this truth is coming out, saying, okay, this is the place to go, this is not the place to go, this is the path to be on, this is not the path to be on, these are the people to be around, these are not the people to be around. These are the virtues, the intentions, the words, the acts, the deeds, these are not. And it's not something being said, it's something being shown, it's something being embodied in the physical through the flesh. Meaning the soul is bearing down upon the physical according to intellect, reasoning, communication, also desires, passions, motivation, but the kind which would have to deal with what's in front of us. Let me explain. All this virtue is alive in us, but we don't see it. We're literally being forced to deal with what's in front of us, and we're gonna, a month from then, a year from then, when we're at the end of the cycle, we're at the end of the path, we're gonna have decided for ourselves where we're going, towards the light or towards the dark, connecting with all that is, or separating it and being in the distorted. It's just, it's not gonna be a conscious decision. We're gonna literally deal with what's in front of us. And according to how we choose is according to how we reap, how we end up. So we should be aligning with divinity through having some kind of practice of devotion. If we don't have something going on for ourselves, we're going to join somebody else's. And see, again, we're going to learn that a lot of the times before we were choosing illusion. We were aligning because of some fear of what we didn't have for ourselves, but we've walked across the desert enough, we've walked through the dark enough to discover that resources we're looking for in others is actually alive in ourselves as well. Okay, so as we move through into our own individuality and self-sustainability, we will learn that we can rely on our own inner resources. And what that will give us is self-governance, self-mastery. A strength, courage, and wisdom will come because we'll be negotiating, navigating in this world through great spirit. It's almost like exacting. What's for us will not pass us by. So if something's also been stolen from us, some kind of gift, ability, talent, some kind of celestial endowment we have, which has been stolen from us, that's going to align into place, and it's going to expel a lot of what doesn't need to be there. We would have been for a while trying to feel good, feel better, heal from something which we don't even fully, truly, genuinely understand. You know, there's been a lot of fear of being given what we really want, fear of unifying with the divine. There's also been a lot of malaise, conflict, hysteria from not being connected to source. We might have lost our connection to source. We might have lost that God's love, that God's grace, that God's blessing. We might have stepped out of our luck for a little while. We might have stepped out of our protection for a little while. We might have stepped out of the grace of the ancestors, of the elevated, the spirit team, essentially, the elevated and ascended masters. And it's because there needed to be some kind of learning. We had an unwillingness to learn properly or to pay attention to intuitive impressions, intuitive hits. We would have been aligned with the darker path, the destructive path. We would have had allegiance to principles, to thoughts, to ideas that weren't in alignment, essentially self-sabotage. But it was a collective thing. So we might have had that fear of missing out, fear of loss. That's actually self-sabotage because you want to align with the collective instead of align with the self. The aligning with the self gives a celebration of what's beautiful, gives a celebration of what's alive in us, gives a celebration of what we enjoy, what we want, with what that creative energy is. However, it's inspirational, it's creative, it's in alignment with divinity, that the frequency, energy, vibration is one of harmony, it's one of unity, instead of indulgence at the expense usually of our own eternal self nature. So eternal spirit, karma, life, destiny, we're getting aligned with the pursuit of pleasure, hedonism, things that are detrimental, things that are dark, things that deplete, things that are a consumptive model instead of a giving model, mutually beneficial, nourishing needs exchange. And also we get seduced easily into things. So we need to be clear and careful how and where and what people are using power for, including ourselves. Okay, so we need also sisterhood, companionship, which is some kind of ability to be in a group of laymen, of laity, like a work group or a recovery group or a support group or a socialized group, a fellowship of some kind, because we need to delight in the benefits and the energy without having all the practical knowledge. We don't need to go to school and get a degree just to join the group of fellows, but we do need somebody that can be a mentor, a guide, a cheerleader, somebody that's come from where we are now and is living, existing, embodying the frequency, energy, vibration of where we want to be, so that they can hold the gate for us to get there. And all they need to do is just share their own experience. This is where I was when I hit my rock bottom, or this is where I was when I came to this realization, I had this awakening. Here's where I am now, and here the gap in between. This is what I did to bridge that gap, because otherwise we'll have this, pretense, falsity, poser, faux. Because we do need to go on this journey to find our gifts. But we need to be spirit-led, spirit-guided, and it's going to require a relationship with the divine. We're still being exploited and starved, essentially. It's a forced destitution. There's a covert tactic called it's where they strip you of certain things slowly, and they almost force you to go ask for help in a way to engender themselves to you. But that's like a narcissist who steals your car or steals something and then helps you look for it. Excuse me, code switching here. There are negative entities that will buddy up to you like a frenemy, and they'll take something from you and then they'll help you look for that thing, or they'll be the ones that wound you, and then they take the position of helping you heal from that wounding. So that's like I'm seeing the four of spades in the playing cards, which is the four horsemen, which is basically ensnaring you in a trap, boxing you in. And the easiest way to box you in is to make you docile, like a lamb, so that you don't see the walls closing in on you. And then by the time you do see the walls closing, it's too late. You're already ensnared. So it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve you. Thank you for allowing me the privilege to do so. If anything that was said resonates deeply with you, go ahead and check the links in the show notes. Until we meet again, namaste, dandavat, and ashe. Take good care of yourself, everyone. Bye.